There was something I wanted to pick up on within, I think, maybe notes from the book, or it was a
Mhm.
phrase which I believe that you used, and the term was inner freedom. Would you mind elaborating on what that term means to you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've done probably more research after writing the book than before the writing book called "What Do We Mean by Freedom?" And the first thing I'd like to say is what it doesn't mean, and that is it doesn't mean that you don't follow some of the basic rules of good relationships and what's good for society. In other words, we, by the station of who we are in society, says that there are certain ground rules that we have to follow. Doesn't mean we can't be creative. But that inner freedom is really that I can be who I am in the environments in which I'm working and living. A good example of that is that one of the things that my wife and I say to each other quite often is the precious gift we give each other is the ability to be ourselves. And my quirks and my idiosyncrasies certainly come out every day, but she knows how to work with those, and I know a lot about hers. So we can express ourselves, we can have the freedom to explore, the freedom to express our emotions, and that's okay. And I think that same principle applies to if we're working if I'm the leader of a group, then am I acting on a stage or am I myself? And can I be myself and let my people know uh, who I am and what I believe in? And the other thing is within an organization on my team, diversity really counts. And I shouldn't expect people to be like me. There are processes we have to follow. These are some of the restrictions we have in working in a team. But at the same time, we want people to be able to express themselves, to have the freedom to create, the freedom to express ideas, and then try to mold those into a team sense of direction.
There's a question that I sometimes ask, and I'd certainly like to know what your thoughts are. And that is, if everyone spoke their mind, would the world be a better or a worse place? Your thoughts on that?
There are thoughts that each of us have every day that might be quite destructive. I don't think we ought to just use those. And sometimes those thoughts are just a result of uh, our inner concerns or our anger, perhaps. And so my my question to moderate that is civility, and civility does count. We have we've had I started to say arguments, and I really mean arguments at the city council here in the city, where people were very disruptive, and for months the city council got almost nothing done. And the explanation was we've been suppressed too long. We don't believe in civility. Well, maybe expressing the anger is a good thing to let out people if they're feeling that. But at some point, you have to say, therefore, what are we going to do? What can help you get through that? So I think if everybody just went around expressing their rage, for instance, then I think we'd be in a lot of trouble. So I mean, even if you take what just happened here in the United States about a gunman shooting down people in Chicago, uh, that's an expression of some sort of rage or dysfunction, and that's certainly not positive.